Dr. Della Parker here. I'm a naturopath at Stellar Health and Wellness in Clackamas, and we are talking about adrenals. So this is the very first episode of my adrenal series, and the reason I want to just give you all the information about your adrenal glands, what they're doing in our body, why they're so important to support, is because almost every patient that I see needs some sort of adrenal support at some time or another. And I'll go through like what these glands are and why that is, but it is one of the most important things that we can do for our health to just live a healthy life and prevent disease. And this is one thing that is not addressed by the medical community just because it's not a disease process. We're talking about a functional process in the body that's going kind of awry, and so until it transforms into a disease, that's where the Western medicine is really good at disease management. And if you're not there yet, you're just on this slope downward. They don't have any tools to address it until you already land in disease land. So what are your adrenal glands, first of all? So adrenal glands are, well, they're glands, which means they secrete hormones, okay? And they live in your back right above your kidneys. So you've got two of them, okay? And so they produce hormones. They produce several different hormones, and each of these hormones has a different set of impact on the body. The primary one that we'll talk about most often is cortisol. And so you can think of cortisol as the anti-inflammatory hormone. So I'm sure if you've ever had some sort of inflammatory condition or needed like a cortisone injection in a joint, or had to take Prednisone for any particular reason, it's because inflammation was getting out of control in your system, and so you needed basically some water to put out that fire. And that hormone is produced internally in our system by our adrenal glands if they are healthy. So just that hormone alone we'll be talking in great depth about as we go through this series, because not only does it manage inflammation, it literally has its little fingers in a million other functions of your system. And so as it interacts with blood sugar and hormones and creates weight gain and sleep and all these other things, it's super important to understand how cortisol works and how we can manage it. But the one thing I want to get you thinking about is if we've got a lot of inflammation in our systems because of a poor diet or, just the stressors that we're exposed to living in this world and the pollution that we just breathe in on the daily, it's a lot of inflammation that our internal cortisol has to manage. And so over time, our adrenal glands can just kind of get wiped or maybe run out of cortisol because they're like overproducing it all the time. Or maybe our cells are not responding to that anti-inflammatory hormone because it's always there because we're always inflamed. And so when you think about inflammation, we know that that is the start to all chronic disease. And chronic disease is what is going to kill you, most likely. Cancer is usually starting with an inflammatory condition in the body that gets out of control. So if we can support your adrenal glands to produce cortisol in the proper amounts at the proper times and have your body respond to it properly, we're literally going to prevent disease and add years onto the end of your life. So that's how important I think it is. But not only does cortisol help with anti-inflammatory action, it helps with energy, metabolism, blood sugar, all these other things. We think of, the tired, busy, overworked mommy, right? I'm looking in a mirror right now. So I'm always looking to support my adrenal glands because they give you energy first thing in the morning. That cortisol also produces energy in your body. So I can tell that when I'm really wiped out or I'm more susceptible to, little viruses coming around, or I get eczema. And so if my body's inflamed, my skin starts to get red and itchy and irritated. All of that can be mitigated by supporting and nourishing my adrenal glands. And if I were just to let that spiral out of control, I know I would be a freaking hot mess. I'm halfway there already. And it's definitely a balancing act for me to, lead this busy life that I do and support my adrenal glands and give my body the things that it needs to function optimally so that I don't go down that path of disease. So that's cortisol. Other hormones, aldosterone, which helps with water balance in the body, DHEA, which is responsible for making hormones downstream in pathways. Hormones are another thing where, as women, our hormones are jacked up. So many women are taking hormone replacement, whether it be progesterone or estrogen. And our adrenal glands should be helping us make those. I think about menopausal women, and when your ovaries kind of say, I'm into retirement land, like, peace out, I'm not making any more hormones, your adrenal glands are what are supposed to step up their game and then start replacing that hormone production for your body, which would ease your way into menopause. But when your adrenals are zapped and they just don't have that function, that is when, you're having these horrible hot flashes and all these menopausal symptoms. So at all stages of life, it's really important to support this gland. The other hormones that are produced are epinephrine and norepinephrine. That's literally like, your adrenaline rush. Like, you get cut off in traffic and you're going to have that adrenaline rush, right? Well, it's a switch. It flips on, it should flip right back off again when that norepinephrine is secreted to kind of relax your system. But I think that we get stuck with that switch turned on, and we are just always like, sometimes even myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, my shoulders, like, calm down. And you have to train your body, deep breathing exercises to calm down and help your body secrete that norepinephrine to calm your system down. We're not always living in a state of emergency. We should help our bodies train to calm down. But when's the last time you sat on the couch and thought like, oh, I'm just relaxing. You weren't worried about like, oh, I need to be doing the dishes, or, oh, I've got that work to do, or this, that, da-da-da. Like, you're thinking of your to-do list even when you're trying to relax. And so your body is still like going a million miles an hour when you're trying to relax. So it's really training our body that we're not in an emergency state. We got to get that switch flipped both ways so that we can respond in an emergency, but then we can switch out of it. That's all adrenal function. Okay. So, let's see, there's stages of adrenal function. We'll totally talk about that. How, there's an alarm stage when your adrenals are like really starting to struggle. You can go into exhaustion when they're starting to like, resistance where they're starting to, your body is just no longer responding to the hormones, and then exhaustion where your adrenals are just wiped out and they're not even producing them anymore. So there's stages of this for sure, but there's different therapies all along the way that can help support your adrenal glands. And so it's really important to look at the individual and what their stressors are and what stage of adrenal fatigue they're in so that we can support their body meet them where they're at and improve the health of their adrenals to improve their quality of life and add years to the end of their life. I'm super passionate about this because it does not get talked about enough. People just wonder why they're diabetic, or they have all these inflammatory conditions, or why they're just so tired all the time. And they don't even know anything about their adrenal glands, that they even exist, just because their medical doctors don't have a treatment, so that's never talked about. And it's literally what can prevent disease and just restore the quality of your life. So I just think it's super important, and I really hope that you join me. We're going to be dropping a video every Sunday on our YouTube channel. So you just head over to YouTube and go to Stellar Health and Wellness, and there'll be a video in there every Sunday. We're going to just start mass producing some content on this topic because I just did a quick brainstorm on like, what could I talk about that's adrenal related, right? I came up with 70 different things that are adrenal related in like 5 minutes, and I didn't put much thought into it. And so I am just like, wow, the amount of content that is adrenal related that is just not talked about is crazy. So we need to educate ourselves on how to support this gland and also understand how we're hurting this gland so that we can like start making changes to those behaviors. So yeah, in the coming months, we're going to learn about, inflammation, autoimmune disease, how your adrenals and the thyroid work together, your blood sugar, how to calm down anxiety by supporting your adrenals, get better quality sleep, all of the symptoms that are associated, allergies, asthma, eczema, all of these conditions. We're going to talk about growing a baby when you're super stressed out and what impact that has on your baby. There is an impact. We'll totally go through all of that. and yeah, just ways to support your body. So we do have a How Jacked Are Your Adrenals quiz on our website. So if you head on over to stellarhw.com, a little pop-up should appear that says take our quiz. And so if you enter your email in there, we'll drop that quiz right into your email so you can take it, and it helps you identify what stage of adrenal fatigue you are in. And so that also can maybe help give you a clue as you're watching these videos what areas are really we're talking to you about, and what ways to support your system are probably the best for the stage that you're in. So yeah, I'm super excited because, like I said, everybody needs to hear this information. So please share these videos with friends and family, other struggling mommies that you know of, because we need to get the word out so people understand that they can help support their bodies and prevent disease. It doesn't have to be this path that they have to continue down until the medical community is like, oh, now you have a disease and now we'll work on a treatment for you. We want to prevent disease. And so I think that goes back to supporting your adrenal glands. So share this video, follow us on our Instagram and Facebook, because we'll have lots of other information drop in there all through the week. So I'm super excited, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.